Okay, now here's the main thing is to remember. It is supposed to be runny, well not runny, but it's supposed to be runnier and not so much like a dough. Okay, so you might want to hold back about a half of a cup at a time, and then make sure that by the time you reach the end, it is still like a batter. And so that when you do this, I'll show you. So that when it goes like this, and then you go like this. I'm sorry for making little noises like that. Um, when they mix it at Schlotzsky's, it's usually in a mix, and it's usually a 50-pound bag, so it's a big, huge bag. But when it goes like this, it should run like that a little bit. So it should probably, I can add a little bit more. But make sure that it never gets any thicker, and it's never like a dough, okay? So it's never stiff. It should be more like, here, I'll show you. I'll show you that basically I'll show you exactly when it's to the end, this is what it should look like. This is exactly right here. This is what it should look like. It should run off of the spoon like this. And now what we could do is basically with this recipe, a lot of the times people will tell you, oh, it's double proofed. But with this particular type of recipe, you can't do that with this. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to go ahead and scoop it. Because I'm not sure, they didn't tell me how to do that. So you go like that. So go like that one. Two. So let me make sure I get all four in there. Three. This stuff is very runny and sticky. Number four. Now one of these, or I'm going to add a little bit more to this one too. I'm going to add a little bit more. And they say there's a squeeze where you squeeze it and then let it go like that. In the store, I remember that. The squeeze. They did the squeeze like that. And then there was a scale, and you would set this on the scale, and then basically what we would do is let these sit, and with these, because it's a different type of recipe, they smell sour though. Oh my goodness, they smell sour. They have a soury kind of a smell, but I'm going to rinse my hands right here in the sink. Now, basically, I ended up with, I'll show you how much flour I did not use. Probably, I'm going to guess about a quarter of a cup, something like that. But it was 2.5 cups is what it calls for in the recipe. So let me cover this up with some plastic. Hopefully I have enough. Oh my goodness. So what I'm going to do is cover it up. And we're going to cover up one there. And then you just cover these up and let them proof. They should actually be in a cabinet, a proofing cabinet, like they do at the store. But this is a completely different setup. And essentially what you're going to watch out for is when they start to reach the top, when they start to almost touch the plastic, they're done. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the timer 45 minutes. A lot of the time it's an hour, something like that. I don't want to knock anybody's or I don't want to criticize anybody's work, but this same recipe that I'm using, a lot of the time I'll have to explain how I did it in a bit here, but he did it sort of backwards, or he added the yeast, sugar, and milk all at the same time or something like that. And I don't remember the name of the guy, but I don't want to criticize his work. But you know what though? At the same time, I saw how it worked, and I saw the buns at the very end, because a lot of the time when you look it up and say Schlotzsky's Deli Buns recipe, like on YouTube, it does not look anything like the buns at all. So something's telling me that he did something completely wrong. Now, but when these sit here like this, it's going to take them a while. So it may even take an hour for these to. So it'll definitely take them a bit. And because we don't have a proofing cabinet, like they have that little like this, and they slide them in the big deal, close the little rack there, and I don't know what all besides the temperature, etc. I think it also has to do with moisture, because I know they're not covered with anything. They just slide them in there and shut the door. And if I remember, yes, there is moisture. But this holds the moisture in so that they don't dry out. And because I can see it starting to steam up a little bit. Yep, it is. It's steaming up. I think I may need to move these, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this. So, okay, I will see you in a bit. and then I'll show you what they look like when they're done.